Good morning and welcome to another episode on Mainline Baits Carp Fishing TV, and you join me at the awesome Todber Manor. Now, I've fished over here a fair bit over the years, not recently unfortunately. I'll tell you what, the fish have half grown in them years that I haven't been fishing down here. There's absolutely bundles of 30 pounds in here now, and fish to over 40 pounds, and for a small venue that is fairly impressive, you know. And I put that down to mainly of it being a solid boilie only approach venue. You know, whenever I've fished down here in the past, it has pretty much been sort of boilie only, and that is how I'm going to attack it during this session. And we've got a little bit lucky with the weather. Last week, most of the country was frozen over, there was snow everywhere, and it really was horribly cold. But this week, we've got a nice bit of wind. I say nice, it is blowing an absolute hoolie. There's plenty of rain, but I tell you what, it does look good for a few bites. This time of the year, it can be tricky. You know, you get the wrong bit of weather, and even on a shallow lake like this, the fish can be up in the water and very tricky to catch on the bottom. But like I said, we've been lucky with the weather, and I'm expecting a few fish. I'm going to be attacking it like I always do at Todber Manor, a real solid approach, real simple rigs, little wafters, little 2-bait stringers, and then catapulting matching boilies over the top. Me and the cameraman could do with a cup of tea because we've been absolutely windswept this morning. I'm going to crack on with this, get some rods ready, and get some rigs out in the pond. Well, we're fishing. We've got a couple of rods out there, one of them little 2-bait stringers with the matching wafters, all in the enhancement liquid as well, in the open water area. I started off with one at 11 wraps and the other one at 11.5 wraps, and catapulted probably 30 or 40 baits within that sort of zone. Some have gone about 9 wraps, some have gone past that area as well. And that area there, I'm just gonna keep working, you know, every sort of couple of hours I may add a wrap on, add a wrap less, and just find out where them fish are sitting, because sometimes, especially this time of the year, they can be very localised. This one here is fairly tight to the island, but not super tight, probably about 4 foot off. Again, 2-bait stringer, matching wafter, all glugged up, and that one there is a really good zone. I've caught bundles of carp around the island, especially the first couple of days when the sun comes up. It really sort of warms them islands up, and the fish definitely get around them. So yeah, let's get another brew on and get out this wind. Well, that didn't take long at all. The island rod, probably about 3 or 4 foot away from it, has sprung into life after being out there for probably about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. And them simple tactics, they just absolutely nailed them down here. 2-bait stringers, matching wafters, and feeding over the top. It really is fishing in its simplest form. Yeah, it really does sort them out. It's a tactic that, I must admit, I need to start using a little bit more. Come on, girl, they do our fight well in these shallow waters. Come on. I reckon she's nearly ready now. Ship the old net out. Yeah. Well, we'll take that for starters. A nice dark Todber mirror in the back of the net. That'll do. Great start. And there we go, the first one. That really didn't take long at all. The rod by the island, 20 baits next to it, little 2-bait stringer. And yeah, we got our bite. I tell you what, the amount of fish I've caught off these islands is incredible. They really do love it, but I'm sure it won't be long until that middle zone rod goes as well. But yeah, for starters, we will take him all day long. Well, that's the rods back out there for the evening. I'm going to be playing around though, you know, every couple of hours like I've been doing today, just recasting, just trying different sort of ranges between me and my boundary. I've done a fair few matches down here in the past, and working your swim is vital when you're not getting bites. You know, you can be literally one swim away from them and you don't get your bite, you know, and one swim here is literally only 30 or 40 yards. So, you know, from anything from 5 or 6 wraps you can catch them sometimes, all the way out to your boundary at probably about 13, maybe 12 wraps in some areas. But yeah, see how it goes. Notoriously, it's not the best at night here. You do get them, you know, you do catch them, but the majority of your bites definitely come in that sort of morning period, 7:30 to 11. But on conditions like today, you know, I'd sort of expect them throughout the day. And, you know, we didn't get the rods out today until about 1 o'clock, had that bite fairly quickly, but nothing since. But I'm gonna keep the bait trickling in, keep sort of rotating different areas, and hopefully we'll drop on a couple and start getting amongst them, because, yeah, when it's on at Todber Manor. Good morning. Well, a quiet night as expected. I did say yesterday evening that they don't seem to jump on the end during the hours of darkness, and yeah, last night pretty much went to plan, me getting lots of sleep. But the morning period is here, and this is the time where I expect it to kick on and us to get a few bites, and a completely different day to yesterday. Yesterday was blowing an absolute hoolie, and lots of rain. Today the sun's up and we've got a nice light breeze, and I've actually moved 2 rods now onto the island. I've caught so many carp on the island throughout the years, and it's the morning period when the sun gets up, gets a little bit of warmth onto that island, is when you start nicking your bites. And I've still got a rod in the open water over a fair bit of bait. I've probably introduced about 1 kilo of bait now into that open water. If they do come across that area, you know, that's when you can start getting a little hit of fish together. But I think that island will be the most fruitful area coming into that sort of morning period. So I'll have a nice cup of tea, sit it out, and hopefully I'll have a carp or 2 to show you soon. Coming to Mainline is a dedicated range of shelf life boilies, and if you're anything like me, you've been waiting for this for a very long time, simply because shelf life boilies are much easier to store and keep fresh while on the bank. So why have Mainline taken so long to do this? It's simply because bait development and techniques have moved on. High amounts of preservatives are no longer needed to stabilise and maintain the condition of the bait. So this is mainly due to Mainline investing into a modern day air drying system. The result is a range of shelf life boilies to complement the existing range of freezer baits, such as Cell, Essential Cell and Link, without any compromise. So to begin with, there are 3 flavours. As I've mentioned, Cell, Essential Cell and link in 4 different sizes: 10mm, 15mm, 18mm and 20mm, and they all come in 1 kilo bags. Just to note, these bags are 100% recyclable, so don't just add them to your waste, take them home and dispose of them as you would your normal household recyclables. I'm sure they'll be available in larger quantities in the near future, and I've even heard whispers of some of the old classics that have been discontinued, like the NRG, like the Assassinate, being reintroduced as a little one-off special. But for now, we have these 3 very popular flavours, and of course, just like the freezer range, we have an extensive range of dedicated hook baits, pellets, particles and liquids to cover you in any fishing situation. Tell you what, it has been one struggle of a day. The wind is absolutely freezing, and I'm sure that's had a bit of a knock-on effect to how Todber is fishing at the minute. But I had a little wander down next door a couple of hours ago, chatted with the lads that had been on for a couple of days, and they both said sort of 5, half 5 has been pretty consistent for them. And you know what? I think it is pretty much 5 o'clock now, so you know, it does boil down to bite times and when they come on the feed, and yeah, we've got our bite when they have come on the feed, so that's the important thing. But I tell you what, it is cold. When I first hooked it, I thought to myself, this feels alright, but 5 minutes down the line, and yeah, this Kaizen 3-pounder is pretty much bent to its limit. And I think we're attached to one of the resident catfish that go fairly big in here, you know, 50, 60 pounds. So it may be a carp, but I'm 95% sure we've got a big old slug on the end. It's got this other rod and all, I think. It's back-leaded up. Which normally means you've got a cap because they hold the bottom so well. Oh man, there it is, look, see that? Massive, great big tail. Oh, why are you feeding in March? It's supposed to be dormant for a little while more yet. Someone couldn't tame the power of the catfish. Well, that's my good deed for the day done. Had a lovely catfish. They are quite awesome little creatures. Got some lovely coloration, this one. He's a good one too. He's, I don't know how big that is. It's got to be 45 pound a bit. But yeah, he had 2 rigs in him, bless him. They do fight hard. A zig rig and a little braided rig as well, which we managed to get out. So we've done a little bit of dental work on him, and he will be swimming back a little bit happier. But yeah, mad creatures, these things. Go on, buddy. Be careful of them zig rigs. I think he's just about good to go. They are mad, aren't they? Well, back to the carp. not going to lie, it's been one struggle of a day today. I think the main contributing factor has been that wind. It has been horribly, horribly cold, and it has literally died down for the evening. And we're starting to get a few bites now. This one's doing its very, very best to try and get me in the marginal reeds. But yeah, like I mentioned, that wind, you know, a real cold wind in a shallow lake is never going to do it any favours. And it's no coincidence that now it's gone, we're getting into the action. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Well, hopefully a sign of things to come. Oh. Well, my persistence has finally been rewarded, and very tricky day, very, very cold in that wind as well. But I kept casting around, kept trying to find the fish, and we finally came across one. A nice chunky one, probably 19, 20 pound, nice solid Todber Manor fish. And I've actually heard a few show this evening as well, so it's all looking good for the night ahead. The old weather conditions last night went from bad to worse. Another big frost, but it hasn't stopped the fish feeding, and this is fish number 2 of a very quick bite time. It's yeah, 2 fish in probably a quarter of an hour now. So we've got the location right, the essential cell's doing its job, and we're getting a few fish. Come on, Gil. Let's see ya. Pow, these fish. What is this? Pulling my arm off. Come on, girl. This thing does not want to come in. Incredible fight. Here she comes. Big old Todber Manor. Oh, that is a really nice fish. And a big one too. Well, that is an absolute cracker. What a result. Well, I tell you what, that has been one tricky session. It's been difficult to string bites together, but I've kept the bait going in. I've been really consistent with my casting up close to the islands. Made a few slight adjustments along the way, and one adjustment I did make was changing from the essential cell to the link. I've been doing that on my hook baits for the last couple of fish, fishing a little cork dust wafter with a little 2-bait boilie bag right close to the island. And this one has come along the island and snaffled it straight up. 31 pounds and 8 ounces. What a cracking way to finish things off. Well, what a way to end the session. Several fish and topped off by a cracking 31 pound 8 ounce mirror. Mwah. Go on, go.